Well, good afternoon, guys. I'm at the Lake Blanche Trailhead. It's May 8th right now, and I'm going to be hiking as far as I can, but I don't think I'll get very far because it's likely to get snowy soon. I just want to see what cool spring plants I can find, so let's just jump right in and see what's blooming today. Now, starting off, I'm of course in a pretty riparian habitat here, right next to Big Cottonwood Creek, which is absolutely raging. If you couldn't tell, I mean, just look at it. If you guys can't see it very well, I hope you can hear it because it's certainly blasting pretty hard right now. So naturally, we got a few riparian species right here to talk about. Firstly, there's this one of the most common riparian plants in all of North America. This is red Osier Dogwood, also known as Cornus sericea. It is, of course, a member of the dogwood family, Cornaceae, and it has opposite branches that are a brilliant red color like this. So let's turn it up so you can see it better. Looks really nice in the winter when it stands in sharp contrast against the snow. There you go, that's a nice one. But as you get down lower on the branches, they typically get less and less red until they're basically just brown. So it's only the new shoots that are red, but a classic species here. Oh, hey look, are those ladybugs mating? That's really cool. That's awesome. Those are pretty big too. They're like the size of my pinky nail. Anyways though, another classic species around here is this one, Acer negundo, also known as the box elder. It is a species of maple, which you can kind of tell from the leaves. I don't think that many people realize it. They sort of just classify it as their own sort of tree in their head, whereas it is a species of maple, in fact. Acer is a genus of maples, and it has, like all maples, opposite branches, as we can see here. There you go, you have one branch on one side of the stem and one on the right side at all the nodes, although sometimes they fall off over time. So like this right here does no longer appear opposite. You know, at one point it would have been. So that's something to know about plants with opposite branches. They can sometimes over time look like they have alternate branches. Now, another classic riparian species we got is Betula. I think this is Betula occidentalis. There's a slight chance it could be Alnus incana, but I don't really know how to tell them apart. But I think Betula occidentalis is more common. It's a native western water birch. Now there is the male inflorescence for you. At least I think it's the male one. I wish I knew more. I should have researched this before talking, but I think somewhere on here there's like a female sort of cone-looking inflorescence that I can't quite find right now. But it's important to know about the genus Betula and Alnus. Both have male and female inflorescences, but you can sort of tell the two genera apart because they're very similar and they typically grow in riparian areas, as this species is, by the way their inflorescences are, but I don't exactly know how it is. What it is you're using to tell them apart. I should really research that more, so sorry guys. But it's a nice plant, and I really like its bark. It's kind of falls off in large, kind of weird clumps sometimes. They got these weird scaly looking things on them, almost like it's got psoriasis or something. So that's pretty cool about it. I think one way you can tell the two apart is by their leaves. God, this would be really embarrassing if this is Alnus incana, but that's what this plant's leaves look like, whatever it turns out to be. I'll make sure I get the identification right in post, no matter what. And finally, the other really important riparian tree around here that we need to talk about, that's washed out, are these guys that are totally leafless right now, or just starting to come to leaf. This is Populus angustifolia, also known as the Narrowleaf Cottonwood. It is the most common cottonwood species in the higher basins or from northwest region of the United States. Like more in the southwest, you get Populus fremontii. You get both around here, I should say, by the way, but in the mountains, it's always Populus angustifolia. Classic plant, really great tree. I love cottonwoods a lot. I mean, I think I like Fremont cottonwood more just because it has cool looking leaves, but this one's obviously fantastic as well. And that's most likely a Populus angustifolia stem right there, or former trunk. Because, I mean, it's a huge tree too. They can get absolutely massive. So the largest riparian species around here are strictly riparian, or for the most part, strictly riparian. But anyways, let's head on now. And now just hiking a little ways away. We are in a very different habitat dominated by this Cercocarpus ledifolius. And that specimen's dead, but Cercocarpus ledifolius right here, the curly-leaf mountain mahogany, member of Rosaceae and the Dryodoideae subfamily, which is mostly endemic to the western United States, with the exception of the genus Dryas, which is found everywhere but The other three genera, among them Cercocarpus, Abies, and Persia, I think are all found in the basically western North America for the most part. Very tough, hardy plant with wood that is like the color of mahogany, though considering how big these trees are, you're never going to get much lumber out of them unless you want to make just like ornaments or something, like little trinkets out of it. But good, strong wood nonetheless, and a very hardy plant to have around here. I'm going to be getting back into the main forest in just a second, but it's definitely a little small patch of mountain brush. We even got some young Acer grandidentatum coming up here of a Bigtooth Maple. It's weird. It just kind of makes me think that this was like a fire passed through here, even though that it couldn't have been for quite a while, just because of how small these plants are. Maybe wonder what motivated them to start growing soon. I'm gonna kill off all these other trees. Actually, no, sorry, we're not killed off. What am I talking about? This is actually Quercus gambelii. It hasn't quite yet leafed out. So I didn't notice the living buds right here for a second. Oops. But yeah, let's carry on. And up there in the snow is where Lake Blanche is. There is no way I'm getting all the way up there today. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but it's just not worth it. So I'm gonna stick to the lower trail, I think, and turn around when it gets rough. Okay, here's something that's a little bit cute. This tiny little flower down there. Right there, that tiny little guy. Sort of zygomorphic petals. If I get any closer to it all. I cannot. That is Collinsia parviflora, which I believe is a member of the family Plantagenaceae. Tiny little plant that grows in this region, sometimes at higher elevations as well. Just teeny tiny little plant, never gets bigger than that, never has flowers larger than like 1/8 of an inch across. There's a few more of them there, so I use that's one strategy to survive in the wild or anywhere in a niche partition is have it be a really tiny plant, be completely unambitious, have a quick life cycle, and the trade-off is that you're going to be super numerous. Adorable little plant. I wish you could zoom in more and give you a better view of it, but that's about the best you're going to get. Right behind it, there's also some Hydrophyllum, I believe capitatum. I think this is capitatum instead of occidentalis territory. Saw a flower. Okay, there's one. There's a little ball flower. Right back there. Yoink. Really cool. Yeah, definitely capitatum instead of the other one, which seems to be just kind of common in just a few really weird random places. Now I head onward. Okay, here's something I actually think is kind of interesting. This tree is just another Prunus virginiana. I've seen them a million times, but growing all over it is this sort of weird parasitic fungi that looks like the sort of poop that's been smeared on the branches. It's called black knot, and it's a major parasite of members of the genus Prunus. I can't remember what its scientific name is, but it can be a major pest in like orchards of cherry trees and the like. Well, here it just likes to parasitize the native choke cherries. They can cause some pretty significant crop losses, I've heard. And it seems like it's doing a lot of damage to some of these branches. Like a lot of the ones you look at that are being eaten by it are just, there's nothing growing above them. So I don't know why this tree's been so heavily targeted by it. It's the first one I've seen on the trail that's been getting eaten alive like this, but it's just crazy how much damage is being done. It's like it's doing a lot of damage to the branches as well where it's growing, as one might imagine, but that's what it looks like up close. Again, kind of just like bear poop or something like that, but it's definitely a parasitic fungi that and if you ever see it, you know you're looking at least around here, a choke cherry or some other introduced cherry species, because it really only affects members of the genus Prunus. I should mention, just before I made the clip on the black knot, I saw a moose tromping in the background of the forest there, just like right behind the aspen trees, so hopefully I can see it on the way down. That'd be pretty cool. And hopefully if I do see it, it doesn't trample over me, because they're kind of scary animals if you piss them off too much, and they can be a little unpredictable, but it was really cool. That's my first moose of the season. I normally see a couple hiking every year because they're pretty common, and they're just everywhere, it seems like, in these mountains. Right here the forest is once again mostly Abies concolor, as exampled by that one, and Pseudotsuga menziesii. Just one of those middle trees, has more drooping branches that kind of angle upward a little bit. But Douglas firs is also called, I should add, my bad. The major species, or conifer species, of the lower montane zone in the Wasatch. Pretty important duo. This plant, by the way, is an evergreen. It is Ceanothus velatines. Remember the family Rhamnaceae. It is the, I'm not sure it's the only native Ceanothus to these mountains, but it's definitely the most common one you see. And certainly the only common one you see, because any of the other ones that live here have been pretty rare, and I've never seen them, so I'll look it up if there's, I know there's other Ceanophyses in the state of Utah. It's a genus that has most of its diversity in California, but there are some species outside from this one in Utah, but it is an evergreen, and I'm really cool at that. This is a really small, sad specimen. They can look quite lively at times. I think I'm almost done. Okay, this is a pretty basic plant species to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it nonetheless because there's not actually that many plants blooming up here. This is Claytonia lanceolata, also known as the longleaf spring beauty. Some other plants you might know that are related to it are Claytonia perfoliata, which is miner's lettuce. I made a video on how to identify that plant and what's cool about it a while ago, but it's an interesting plant, I think, this one, just because it's cute and likes to bloom early. It's got like these pink stripes on the petals, which you might be able to see. Well, some of them are a lot more pinkish, like those guys back there. I mean, some just straight up are pink, if I can find them. But, oh yeah, there's a good pink one. There we go, just opening up. How adorable. They are perennials despite being so tiny and have like a bit of a perennial root, which I'm not going to dig up just because I don't really see the point of doing it. It wouldn't harm the ecology too much if I dug one up, but I just don't see the point. There's also a lot of this member the carrot family growing everywhere, which I'm not really sure what it is. It's super abundant though, so I want to figure it out, but it's clearly a member of the family Apiaceae. Just on how the leaves look. Looks very much like sort of like parsley or cilantro, which are also members of the carrot family. So yeah. Alright, now you can really see just how recent everything started growing again here. I wouldn't be surprised if this place was covered in snow just 2 weeks ago. But the Cercocarpus malvaceus, or mallow ninebark, remember the rose family is just starting to leaf out here. Of course, the Ceanothus velatines is green because it's an evergreen, as I just said. We got some much better specimens of it right here. Ninebark, mallow ninebark. I'm not sure why it's called ninebark. If I had to guess, it has something to do with the fact it has really peely bark. So peely, it looks like it has nine bark. I don't know, it's a common name. You really, for a lot of common names, you really have to get into the mindset of someone from the 1800s because that's when they were named, especially in North America, because other plants have been named for quite a while in Europe. But a lot of the stuff here is new to people and was given weird Western common names that may or may not make that much sense. I thought that was a snag for a second, but it's just a tree that's looking kind of empty of leaves. Not sure how much further I can go, but I think I just see the earliest snow on the ground still here. Yeah, there you go. We got some snow that I can actually access now. So maybe I'm a little bit early to find more interesting wildflowers that I was hoping for, but this might be a good place to wrap up. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Unless. Isn't that cute? Right in the floodplain of whatever this river is called. Lake Blanche Creek, maybe. You got this little wetland, temporary wetland. I wonder if it's impacting ecology at all. I mean, certainly the aspen seems to like growing in it. A few other plants, and maybe some of these grasses or sedges, whichever they are. But yeah, in about maybe 2 months time, certainly by August, it'll be as if this never existed, I bet. Go check it out further, but I don't have good boots for that. Yeah, it's something really special, I think. Yeah, this little bypass channel that's flowing to certainly seems to extend the riparian area away from the main stem, which is super neat. Got more of the Betula occidentalis growing here. More of the red osier dogwood right back there. Cornus sericea. So this Sorbus scopulina, that native mountain rowan, just starting to leaf out. Not really a riparian species, but I just want to mention it really quick because it's so cool. And down there, it joins back to the main stem of the river. I don't think I'm getting any moose today. So once again, thanks for watching and see you next time.